Indonesia is not simply a country marked on a map. It is a living testament to the power of nature and the resilience of humanity. Stretched across more than 3,000 miles between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, this archipelago connects Asia to Australia, not just geographically but culturally and ecologically. Here, more than 700 languages are spoken, each one a universe of stories, traditions, and wisdom passed down through countless generations. Yet all these voices unite under one tongue, Bahasa Indonesia, a linguistic bridge as vital as the waters that connect these scattered lands. But what drives a nation built on such fragmentation to hold together? What invisible threads bind islands separated by vast stretches of open sea? And perhaps more importantly, what can we learn from a people who have chosen unity despite their profound diversity? These are questions worth pondering as we journey through this extraordinary archipelago. If you're ready to explore a land where dragons still roam, where temples touch the sky, and where the earth itself is constantly being remade, then join us on this voyage. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because the stories we are about to uncover will change the way you see our world. Indonesia sits atop one of Earth's most restless geological features, the Pacific Ring of Fire. This is not a metaphor or poetic exaggeration. It is geological fact. The archipelago hosts more active volcanoes than any other nation on Earth, 127 peaks that could awaken at any moment. The ground beneath Indonesian feet is never truly still. It shifts, it trembles, it occasionally explodes with devastating force. Yet Indonesians do not flee from their volcanoes. They build their homes on their slopes. They plant their crops in the ash-enriched soil. They weave the mountains into their spiritual cosmology, seeing them not as threats, but as sources of life and power. This relationship between people and geology reveals something profound about Indonesian culture. It is a culture forged in the acceptance of impermanence, of constant change, of the need to adapt and rebuild. The volcanic soil that covers much of Indonesia is among the most fertile on Earth. Rice terraces climb mountainsides in impossibly perfect tiers. Tropical forests explode with such biodiversity that scientists discover new species regularly. The same forces that can destroy villages in moments also create the conditions for life to flourish with extraordinary abundance. This paradox, this dance between creation and destruction, defines the Indonesian experience. Consider what this means for a people: to live knowing that the earth beneath you might open without warning, to plant crops on slopes that could become rivers of lava, to build temples on fault lines. This requires a particular kind of courage, a particular kind of faith. It requires understanding that stability is an illusion and that the only constant is transformation itself. The geological turbulence that defines Indonesia has created something remarkable. Isolated on their individual islands for millions of years, life forms evolved in directions found nowhere else on Earth. The result is one of the planet's three greatest centers of biodiversity, a natural laboratory where evolution has conducted countless experiments. On the island of Komodo, dragons still walk the earth. These are not mythical creatures, but Komodo dragons, the largest living lizards, prehistoric remnants that have survived unchanged for millions of years. They hunt with patience and precision, their saliva teeming with bacteria that doom their prey. They are living dinosaurs, proof that the age of reptiles never truly ended in Indonesia. In the rainforests of Sumatra and Borneo, orangutans swing through canopies that may soon exist only in memory. These great apes, whose name means person of the forest in Malay, share more than 96% of their DNA with humans. They use tools, they teach their young, they grieve their dead. Looking into an orangutan's eyes is like glimpsing our own evolutionary past, a humbling reminder of how recently we diverged from our primate cousins. Beneath the waves, the biodiversity becomes almost overwhelming. The waters surrounding Indonesia contain more marine species than any other place on Earth. Coral reefs of staggering complexity shelter fish in every imaginable color and shape. Sea turtles that have crossed oceans for 100 million years still return to Indonesian beaches to lay their eggs. Whale sharks, the gentle giants of the sea, glide through these waters like living submarines. But this natural wealth is fragile. Deforestation devours forests at alarming rates. Coral reefs bleach and die as ocean temperatures rise. The orangutan population has crashed by more than half in just 30 years. Indonesia's biodiversity, built over millions of years, could vanish within a single human lifetime. The question facing Indonesians and the world is whether we have the wisdom to preserve what we cannot recreate. Bali has become synonymous with paradise in the global imagination, but this reputation barely scratches the surface of what makes this island extraordinary. Bali is not simply beautiful, it is a functioning spiritual civilization, a place where the sacred remains woven into every aspect of daily life. The Balinese do not separate their religious practice from their ordinary activities. Every morning, before shops open and traffic begins, offerings appear. Small woven baskets containing rice, flowers, and incense are placed on doorsteps, in shrines, at intersections, even on car dashboards. These offerings, called kanang sari, are made to maintain harmony between the human world and the realm of spirits. They acknowledge that humans are not masters of their environment, but participants in a larger cosmic balance. This philosophy finds its most visible expression in the subak system, an ancient method of water management that has governed Bali's rice terraces for over 1,000 years. Water flowing from mountain springs is distributed through a complex network of canals, divided fairly among farmers through democratic cooperation. Temples mark key points in the irrigation system, and planting calendars are set according to religious ceremonies. The system works not through central control, but through voluntary cooperation, guided by spiritual principles. Mount Agung, Bali's highest peak, dominates not just the physical landscape, but the spiritual one. All Balinese temples are oriented toward this sacred mountain, considered the home of ancestral spirits and the axis connecting Earth to the divine realm. When Agung erupts, as it did catastrophically in 1963 and again in 2017, it is seen not merely as a natural disaster, but as a cosmic event, a purification, a reminder of the power that ultimately governs all things. Tourism has transformed Bali dramatically. The southern beaches that were once quiet fishing villages now pulse with international energy. Hotels rise where rice fields once stood. Yet somehow, beneath this modern overlay, the old patterns persist. Ceremonies continue, offerings are made. The gamelan orchestras still play at temple festivals. Bali demonstrates that it is possible to engage with modernity without surrendering one's soul, though the balance grows more precarious with each passing year. Jakarta embodies Indonesia's contradictions. It is the economic engine of the nation, a megacity of over 30 million people in its metropolitan area. Skyscrapers pierce the sky, shopping malls glitter with luxury brands. The stock exchange hums with capital flows, connecting Indonesia to global markets. Jakarta is modernity incarnate, ambition made concrete and steel. Yet Jakarta is also sinking, and not metaphorically. The city subsides by as much as 10 inches per year in some areas, making it one of the fastest sinking cities on Earth. The cause is not mysterious. Decades of uncontrolled groundwater extraction have created vast underground voids. The city literally eats its own foundation. Parts of northern Jakarta now sit below sea level, protected by increasingly inadequate seawalls. The irony is profound. Indonesia's capital, its showcase of progress and prosperity, is undermining itself. The very development that makes Jakarta powerful also dooms it. This is not just Jakarta's problem. It is a parable of unsustainable growth, relevant to cities worldwide. Can prosperity be built on foundations that cannot hold? What happens when the pursuit of progress ignores physical reality? The Indonesian government has made a radical decision. It will abandon Jakarta as the national capital, moving governmental functions to a new city being built on the island of Borneo. This represents one of the largest urban migrations in history. It is an acknowledgement that some problems cannot be solved, only escaped. But it also raises troubling questions. If the capital moves, what happens to the millions who cannot afford to leave? Does abandonment become official policy? Java is Indonesia's most populous island, home to more than half the nation's 270 million people, despite representing only 7% of its land area. This concentration of humanity has ancient roots. Java's volcanic soil supported intensive rice cultivation, which in turn supported dense populations, which enabled the rise of sophisticated kingdoms and empires. The temple complexes of Borobudur and Prambanan stand as monuments to Java's classical age. Borobudur, built in the 8th and 9th centuries, is the largest Buddhist structure in the world. It rises in 9 platforms, representing the stages of spiritual enlightenment, culminating in a great stupa that symbolizes nirvana. The monument is designed as a 3-dimensional mandala, a cosmic diagram meant to guide pilgrims from the world of desire through the world of form to the realm of formlessness. Prambanan, built around the same period, represents the Hindu tradition. Its tall, sharp towers dedicated to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva pierce the sky like mountains. The contrast with Borobudur is striking. Where Borobudur is broad and contemplative, Prambanan is vertical and dynamic. Together, these monuments demonstrate that Java was not peripheral, but central to the great religious and artistic movements of medieval Asia. Yet Java's dominance within Indonesia creates tensions. The Indonesian state is officially committed to equality among its diverse islands and peoples. But power, both political and economic, concentrates in Java, particularly in Jakarta. Javanese culture and language, though officially one among many, carries disproportionate weight. This creates resentment in the outer islands, a feeling of being colonized not by foreigners, but by fellow Indonesians. The challenge of maintaining unity in diversity remains Indonesia's central political problem. Beyond Java and Bali lie islands that challenge any simple definition of what Indonesia is. Sumatra, massive and heavily forested, was once the seat of the powerful Srivijaya maritime empire. Sulawesi, with its bizarre spider-like shape, hosts peoples whose funeral rites involve keeping deceased family members in the home for years before final burial. Papua, the western half of the world's second-largest island, contains hundreds of indigenous groups, some of whom had no contact with the outside world until recent decades. Lake Toba in Sumatra is not just a lake, but a memory of catastrophe. 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano exploded with such force that it may have pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. Ash fell across Asia. Global temperatures plummeted. The human population, according to some theories, collapsed to just a few thousand individuals. Toba nearly ended our story before it truly began. Today, the massive caldera left by that eruption holds one of the world's deepest lakes, a peaceful scene marking humanity's closest brush with oblivion. Flores in the Lesser Sunda Islands gained scientific fame when researchers discovered the bones of Homo floresiensis, nicknamed the Hobbit. These were humans, but humans who stood only 3.5 feet tall, who used stone tools but had brains 1/3 the size of ours. They survived on Flores until perhaps as recently as 50,000 years ago, meaning they coexisted with our ancestors. Their existence overturned assumptions about human evolution and proved that the story of our species is far stranger than we imagined. The traditional village of Rebo, high in the mountains of Flores, preserves an almost vanished way of life. 7 cone-shaped houses, called Embarunyang, cluster together, each 5 stories tall and housing multiple generations of a family. The architecture itself embodies philosophy. The top level stores seeds and food, symbolizing sustenance from ancestors. The middle levels house the living. The lowest level, where animals were once kept, represents the foundation of life. Everything connects. Nothing stands alone. Indonesia's national motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which translates as unity in diversity. These are not just words, but an ongoing experiment. Can a nation encompassing such profound differences hold together? Can Muslims in Aceh, Hindu Balinese, Christian Papuans, and Confucian Chinese Indonesians forge a shared identity? The answer is not foreordained. Indonesia's history includes periods of brutal conflict. The mass killings of 1965 and 1966, when hundreds of thousands died in anti-communist purges, left scars that remain unhealed. Separatist movements in Aceh and Papua challenged the state's legitimacy for decades. Religious and ethnic tensions simmer beneath the surface. Yet Indonesia has also demonstrated remarkable cohesion. When the authoritarian Suharto regime fell in 1998, many predicted the nation would fragment. It did not. Democratic institutions, imperfect though they are, took root. Peaceful transfers of power became routine. Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority nation, proved that Islam and democracy are compatible, offering a model desperately needed in an age of sectarian conflict. Indonesia is not perfect. It struggles with corruption, environmental destruction, and inequality, but it offers something valuable, an example of how to maintain hope and unity in the face of overwhelming complexity. In a world that often seems to be flying apart, Indonesia's continuing existence as a unified nation is itself an achievement worth celebrating and learning from. May you find the strength to embrace uncertainty and the wisdom to see unity within diversity. And if you enjoyed exploring this remarkable nation with us, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the world's most fascinating places. Until next time.